So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Beyond the Title. This is Insider's Executive Thought Leadership Series. My name is Nadia Rodyakova, and I'm a country manager in Insider Thailand. Today, I have an absolute pleasure to introduce you to my friend, Julien Zoma. Dear Julien, thank you for finding time. Welcome to our series. And why don't you start with sharing your background with our listeners?
Thank you, Nadia. Thanks for having me today. So as you mentioned, my name is Julien Zoma. I'm a French native. I grew up there for a couple of years before moving more recently in Thailand. And when it's come about my career, so I started in the e-commerce industry, working there for about 12 years. And now I'm a vice president at Central Group, in charge of the Omnichannel transformation from one of the business unit of the group, mostly focusing on the B2B activities.
Right. Yes, your background is really impressive. 12 years in the industry. I can relate to it very much, and also coming from e-commerce, so I know how much it takes to get, to where you got till now. And you also changed countries, right? You've been in France before, then you moved to Thailand. Could you please tell a bit more about this?
No, so that's correct. So basically, I landed in Thailand probably 6 years ago. So it was a part of my career, right? I used to be based in Paris, working for Rakuten, one of the leading e-commerce player over there. And for some reason, so I actually felt I was missing something, and I wanted to discover new country, new culture, and also new aspect of my work. So I decided to move, and I joined a startup here in Thailand as a marketing director before just stepping up as a chief digital officer. And there is it. I mean, this is how I end up to relocate in Thailand, mostly for a professional reason.
So do you prefer climate of Paris or Bangkok?
There's nothing to compare, right? Being honest, living in Thailand is basically living under the sun, on a daily basis, right? So it's sunny on 365 days a year, and basically you go on weekend where you're friend go on holidays, right? So it's a kind of luxury that you cannot really complain about, right?
That's right. I think it's a blessing to be able to enjoy the climate that people are going for vacations, but in your daily life, every day, going out to see this wonderful sun and the greenery, isn't it? So, Julien, you seem to be a very energetic person, and again, look how much you achieved so far. I'm sure you're very passionate, and I'd like to ask you, what drives you in life? Like Japanese say, what's your Ikigai? Julien, do you hear me well?
That's a good one. I would say that really what is driving me is yes. I'm hearing you fine. Is that okay on your side?
Yes, please continue.
Okay, so basically I was saying that what is driving me is probably the opportunity to work in an industry that I do love. Fundamentally, I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I have been doing that for 12 years, as I mentioned, working for different companies, mostly leading in their field. And what I do like about e-commerce, online, and overall digital transformation is really the fact that it encompasses a couple of aspects: marketing, technology, the data, sociology as well, from the consumer. And that's something that I just really enjoy to do since basically forever. And I'm glad somehow to be able to continue to do what I love. And yes, that's just basically what is putting me out of the bed every morning.
So ability to be part of something digital, innovative, consumer-oriented, that's something that you are passionate about and that drives you. That's amazing. That's really amazing. And, why don't we change gears and jump into something a bit more fun? I'd like to ask you, what movie character best represents you, and why?
All right. Movie character. So I'm a kind of movie enthusiast, like being honest. So probably like 10,000 of different like predictions.
Wow.
Thinking fast here. If I get one coming into my mind, I would probably say Jack Sparrow, like from Pirates of the Caribbean, right? So like I like the character, I like the kind of like let go aspect, and basically like the guy on the always like in somehow in new adventure or like traveling everywhere and so on. I think I kind of find it fascinating, right? On top of that, like rum is my poison, so yeah. So that's what I would set up for Jack Sparrow here.
Do you also have the pirate hats at your house?
No, actually, I don't have like this luxury. But like I would be keen if someone like offer one to me. I can probably like try to see like what it's like look like in the street.
Definitely. I think the next present for your birthday from us would be the hats. This character is very spontaneous. This character is very spontaneous and also has that go-getter attitude. What do you think about these characteristics and traits?
Sorry, can you come again on this?
The character of Jack Sparrow is very spontaneous, but at the same time, go-getter. Like, what do you think about the traits of his character?
Yeah, I think that's kind of represent me well, right? So I'm a kind of person that like to have fun into what I'm doing, right? So I have the pleasure to enjoy what I'm doing on a daily basis, right? But in the meantime, because we're working in a very serious industry, like you need to be serious, like what is needed. And it's like, let's be honest, like most of the time. But at the same time, having a little bit of fun at work, like I think I like to believe that it's contribute like to the overall atmosphere, especially because like retail is hard. Like, you know, it's always about performance and basically like a lot of data, a lot of stats and so on. So I kind of like sometimes, you know, like to just break the atmosphere and just make a little bit of fun with my team at least, right?
Right.
So yeah.
So talking about data, you know, recent times were quite complicated for the retail industry. And I'm sure that you also notice a change, you know, in your own behavior and behavior of your customers of Central Group. So what is the one habit or maybe one change that happened to you for the last few months we were in lockdown that you think will remain in the future?
So during the lockdown, definitely we saw booming the adoption of digital tools, digital services by the consumer and myself first. From my personal case, right? So what I started to use to do, and I still continue to do as of today, is really to use like the food delivery app. Like everything that is kind of bringing like conveniency, everything that is related to transportation is something that I see booming during this time, and I believe it will continue to do so. In Thailand, we do have an application, a company called Foodpanda. I think that they've been doing very, very well, and especially when people like in this country like to go out, like, you know, like food is almost a social thing, right? So yeah, I think those kind of services that are basically encompassing digital transportation and that can really bring convenience in the life of people are set to I would say like see like very, very good future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely applications and their contribution to our life is impossible to underestimate. I think being expat and having a chance to travel across the countries, you also notice that nowadays it's very, very easy, right? To book a trip, to get a ticket, to book a place to stay, and then to use your banking application for any financial queries you might have. So I totally agree that application is definitely changing our lives and more impacting on it. By the way, I just recently see the research that says that just on Android, on a daily basis, there are more than 100,000 applications released per day, right?
Mhm.
But apparently, in average, one user is maybe having 5 major applications on their screen, because more than that, it's hard to handle anyways.
Great.
How about you, Julian? What's your favorite application you have on your phone that you would never be able to live without?
As I mentioned, definitely the delivery services for me is like a part of my life now. I mean, like I really adopted this because it's just so convenient, right? So it's in meantime, in terms of customer experience, I think Food Panda that I mentioned previously. I've been doing a tremendous job by like polishing their services, by bringing like some new features and a lot of convenience. I give you an example, right? So I was placing an order the other day, and I was like very surprised. So they're working with kind of free delivery threshold, like so many e-commerce, so many like service company operating this way. And I get suggested to basically like fill the gap, like pay a little bit more to reach free delivery threshold, right? So this kind of attention and this kind of way to trade with the customer first is like a very, very good point, right? So yes, I'm a big user of like food delivery services. I hate to cook, shame on me. But yeah, forced to admit that this is like a total game changer compared to what I used to know in France.
I see. Well, I also don't like to cook. I can relate.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're also a very good user as well, right?
Yes, that's true. That's true. Okay, so let's highlight a bit of your personality, and let me ask you, what is the one advice you would give to your own 21-year-old?
Okay, this one is a good one, right?
Yes.
If I could roll back time, and if I was 21 again, with the experience I have today, I would probably try to learn more things to really expand. Like if I had the choice, like definitely learn tech, or to code, or to develop API, something that I would have really enjoyed, right? So I have been working with different functions on the management base. So I had been lucky enough in my background to do a little bit of everything. But I never had the opportunity like to do like pure tech and really build things on my from my hand. And I think this is something that I would really enjoy to do. So yeah, if I could roll back time, I would definitely go for that.
So learning tech and a little bit more investing in your education in digital.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be like even more important, right, in the future. Like since we see more and more services like embracing digital, we saw more and more legacy player are missing their digital transformation. I believe that like technical capabilities and all the skill sets surrounding this field will become more and more important. So yeah, this is also the kind of trend, and I think it's set for last.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's a very good one. I think all of us, with the heights of our experience we have now, could have definitely advised something to our previous selves. And I think I agree with you that digital as a trend in the all the industries basically going in digital. So the digital channels increasing and e-commerce growing and digital marketing is boosting and so on. Definitely, and we both are in digital companies at the end. So
Great.
for sure, the more we know, the better for our future selves. All right. Another question I have for you would be about the feedback. So since you mentioned, since we are talking about personal growth and giving advices to your previous self, what was the harshest feedback you have ever received from your surrounding?
So one of the harshest feedback I ever received was probably coming like early in my. I was not even like on the working. I mean, in my professional life, I think it was like coming from one of my teacher in high school or something, saying like, "Oh, I was not a good student, I have to admit.
Oh my
And
God.
I remember this person telling me, like, Julian, like, you probably cannot like do a great career, or like it's probably better for you like to try to focus on something very manual or something basically that I did not like even imagine at the time. And I find it very harsh to judge people like when they're so young, right? I think it does relate like to the French way of doing things, like in terms of education, like French people are like shaped very early, their age to move toward like something performant. And since this day, I probably like never stopped to try to challenge myself and continue to push like a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, right? So yeah, it's probably one of the harshest feedback I ever received. But I was still a kid, though.
It looks like this feedback created a good push for you, right? When perceived with a particular awareness, this type of feedback can set up and shape who you are, and give you that the impulse to move on and
Yeah.
to work hard on yourself, isn't it?
I think it's a matter of motivation, right? So we always say that like failure, like you don't really, you should not care about like failing, right? Like what you should care is just like step back, like take the learning and just move ahead again, right? And I think I kind of feel like within this case.
I think you've done a pretty good job, Julien, since then. Maybe you should send your bio to your teacher and say thank you very much for the harshest feedback in my life. Look where I am now. And now you are in a very interesting position as VP and head of online and omnichannel in Central. I'm sure that's been also, French in Thailand. You might have faced difficult situations related to the working culture and so on. May I ask you, what was the biggest leadership challenge you faced so far?
So as you mentioned, I think like one of the challenge I faced as a leader was like the multicultural aspect, right? So not only like within my current role, but like on my career, having like managed large team composed from different nationalities, like up to 5, if I remember well. I've been kind of tricky because you need to deal with people. At the end, it's all about like people and the way that you address them, like the feedback, or it can be perceived from like a different manner. I think it's even like more tricky when you're immersed in a total different culture, right? As a French people, I actually have like the Western culture. When you move in Asia, like things are working very, very differently, right? So you need to learn this, and obviously it takes time. And I think that has been quite challenging for me during my professional career.
So do you speak Thai?
No. Still, after like 5 years, I still need to learn. For what it was, it's incredibly difficult.
It is pretty difficult.
It is pretty difficult, but like I do not lose my hope when it's come about learning at some point. But as of today, I need to get more time to do so, and this is not a luxury I have right now.
Different tones when they speak. I really sincerely admire their ability to articulate and to speak on a daily basis. So I totally understand how hard it is to learn Thai, and like yourself, I'm also 5 years old in terms of Thai.
To speak Thai and to read it as well, like it's also very tricky.
That's true.
That's
right. Yeah. So things are changing in the world, and changing in Thailand, and changing in our own lives every day. But there's this definition of the old normal, new normal, digital world 2.0, and all that. What's your predictions for digital world 2.0? What do you think will be different?
Well, I think from a consumer perspective, we will still see a lot of adoption, a massive adoption of digital services, e-commerce, food delivery. Those industries have been booming during the past couple of months. They were already on a strong trends before, but now it's like definitely we are talking about like multiple digit growth, right? So I still foresee that there will be like a huge premium on this new incumbent. In the meantime, we will still continue to see like business case surrounding digital transformation of legacy player, and we will see those players moving one step ahead when it's come about like investing, right? So I believe that we will see more and more companies assessing and enforcing their digital capabilities to be sure that they can like really like seize those new opportunities. Honestly, digital is not new, right? I've been working in e-commerce for 10 years, but like for a lot of legacy companies, it has been a challenge. It has been also maybe perceived as a risk, but now they don't have the choice anymore because the market is going this way. And so I believe it will be also complicated for some that have to deal with like serious legacy, because like digital transformation is not only about like, you know, grab some tools, it's also about people, about reskilling, about like the culture, right? Mm-hmm. It's actually started by this. And changing this dynamic can take time, right? I will see also a lot of premium for companies that have like some solid cash position also to invest into their digital transformation. So it's mostly like traditional player. I think for SME and basically like more modest businesses, it will be more complicated if they did not like early during their company life invested into data management capabilities, like modern technologies such as modern BI, modern marketing, and so on. For this, it will be difficult because if they don't have the cash, they cannot do it, right? Or at least it will be at a cost. So yeah, I think like everything will continue to go the way it is right now. So with a huge premium on online and digital services.
So we are expecting digital world to become even more digital with the solid positions of the companies who will be investing more cash in this transformation and introducing probably new services in digital, right, to accommodate the reality of increased demands into the digital world. Wow. Okay. How about highlighting a bit more light on your character? Let's move from the serious topic to your character. What is the one weird fact about you? Something that you're probably a little bit even ashamed to say?
Ashamed to say. It's not so much things to be ashamed. One of the very weirdest, I'm not sure if it's the weirdest part, but like one of the fun facts about me is that now working on retail, online e-commerce, and so on. When I was really like young, probably at high school, I didn't want to do that at all. I mean, like it was very, very far away. I kind of coming from the pop culture, and I wanted to actually work in the animation industry, right? So it's quite off the topic when you see when I landed where I landed. You know, like I was born in the 80s, so basically I grew up with like all this kind of all this kind of animation coming from Japan and so on, like video games, and I was kind of fascinated by that as a kid, right? Mm-hmm. And then I ended up to do not everything except this. Which is basically like kind of weird when you think about it. But as I mentioned, like I discovered my passion later on, and I definitely like would not like quit my seat today. So.
This is really interesting.
Is that weird enough for you?
Oh, that's very new for me. Yes, I would have never guessed that you might have interest in animation. Well,
it's probably from there.
Yes, maybe in 30 years when we speak again,
where it's coming from, the creativity, right?
Yes. No, I have no doubt about your creativity. Maybe in 30 years when we speak, you will have your own little animation studio and produce your own cartoons. Who knows?
Let's cross finger.
Right. Okay, and I'm moving to the last question we have today about your personality. What is your motto in life?
My motto, if I have to pick one, will be like 100% of the one who succeeded. I've tried. I'm really like always up to try new things, to try different angles, to challenge the status quo, and I think that does represent like me very well. There is no like big things happening without taking some risk, and like the first one is just to start, right? So that's for me one of like the motto. If I had to pick one, I would pick this one. Right.
So taking risks, starting, and
just do exactly, and basically assess afterward, and just like like you need to start somewhere anyhow. So.
Well, thank you very much. This is really, really interesting conversation, and it's very insightful. It's great to know, different aspects of your personality apart from, professional part. And it's absolute pleasure to meet you today. Thank you so much for finding time with us and generously sharing your life with us. So we were proud at Insider that we can accommodate the conversations like this, and Beyond the Title is a series of events where we're having a chance to interview amazing people like Julien, for example. So stay tuned, our dear listeners, and join us the next week at the same time. Julien, thank you so much, and I wish you a good day and see you soon.
Thank you, Nadia. Thanks a lot. Bye.